Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Side DFS Fantasy NFL Picks. I'm Mr. Micro 31. Hope you're having a great holiday weekend. I work in retail, so it has been busy. Just simply crazy how the last 2 days, like you combine the days and like a grocery store can do like $1 million, and there's some bigger grocery stores out there that can just do $1 million in just one day or over $1 million in sales. Absolutely insane. So got to get this video out because I'll be back at 5 tomorrow to get back in early to finish things off strong. So, got a Christmas gift for you for FSI. So, just thank you so much for your support this year and watching these videos and everything. So, if you go to the description of the video and you go to our website, you can sign up for a 1 week VIP for free. It's a $25 value by using there in the black border FSI holiday season spelled SZN. So it's a little Christmas gift to you. So whenever you put in, if you put in 24th, it should get you through whenever you put in um, on New Year's Eve, you put in on Christmas Day. It does expire on the 26th, so you have to do it within the next couple of days. So depending on when you start it, it will end whenever. So plan accordingly. So just a thank you. So that should cover soccer. That should cover NFL, NHL, NBA, all the things that we have going on. So just a thank you. So let's get into the slate, get through it pretty quickly. 9 games, no weather concerns. Some decent totals and some different ways to go. So I don't think there's going to be some mega chalk. There's like some cheaper running backs, but nobody that's like at this point, maybe there's an injury or something though. Have like somebody like really cheap manifest themselves in one of the positions, but I think you have options in all ranges and different builds. So let's get into it. Detroit and Minnesota, the first game. It's my second favorite game on the slate. 47.5 total. Detroit's favored by 3. Detroit side, Goff, I think, is in play. The running backs, Gibbs, yes. Montgomery, I'm not sure. Minnesota has pretty good run defense. Gibbs more a pass catching back and gadget play guy. For passing, St. Brown should be good. Jameson Williams is really carving away, and he's really cheap into it. They're designing plays for him. They're trying to get him more involved. He's a home run threat there. Josh Reynolds is still around too and pretty cheap. And Laporte at tight end's very reliable. Wouldn't touch the defense. Minnesota side, Mick Mullins is going to be super popular in cash games just with his price tag. He's got a great arsenal of wide receivers. Jefferson should be back and be fine after that hit and everything. Shouldn't be limited. So he's probably going to be one of the top receivers on the slate if you're paying up. Addison's still definitely in play. Hawkinson's great. It doesn't matter if Madison is back or not, but Chandler is going to be the number one back, and he's relatively cheap and should be popular in cash games also. Next game up, we have Seattle and the Tennessee Titans, 41.5 total. Seattle's favored by 3.5. Geo Smith should be back and good to go. And this is a good spot for him for GPPs. I wouldn't necessarily play him in cash because Tennessee's a pass funnel defense. So Kenneth Walker banged up and Charbonnet, I'm not interested in either one of them, just because Tennessee's been locked down pretty good on run defense. But Metcalf, I think, is a very strong option. Jigba would be a second favorite one. And then Lockett would probably be third. He's kind of trailed off. Tight ends not super interested in, but they're really cheap. But this is a week where you're probably going to want to pay up for tight ends. There's so many great options. And Seattle defense could potentially be in play because we don't know who's playing quarterback for Tennessee. And I think their playoff hopes are pretty much been dashed with the loss to Houston last week. So maybe they're still alive by percentage points, but it's not too promising. So we'll have to see who the quarterback is at this time. I'm not sure because Levis is still questionable. Tannehill, it has suggested that he started, but I haven't seen anything official on that yet. Either one of them, I'm not touching. Henry gets like 23 yards in a game and 2 touchdowns. Great on FanDuel, not great on DK. Play if you want to. I'm a fade. Tajay Spears is starting to it's like maybe a 60-40 split, and he catches balls out of the backfield and actually is pretty good, pretty cheap, great for GPP, not playing him in cash. Hopkins, I think, is definitely in play. Burks, potentially Okonkwo. Again, not really paying down for tight end, but I think he's in play. He was sick, so he did have injury designation. He practiced fully on Wednesday and Thursday. I think he sat out Friday. So just keep an eye on that. And at the Titans defense, maybe, but not don't love them. Colts and Falcons, 44.5 total. Atlanta 2.5 favorite, which is kind of surprising. I thought the Colts would be. Um, Gardner Minshew's always in play. This is my third favorite game. So like either quarterback I like if you're trying to stack this one. Jonathan Taylor's back. Moss is injured and out. So can't play him. And Taylor should be back and healthy and get all the reps. So he's definitely in play there. If you're gonna pay up for running back. Pittman is out with a concussion after that brutal hit from the Pittsburgh guy last week. And so Downs and Pierce should be there. Cheap wide receivers should have a decent role. Should be able to get anywhere from 8 to 12 points a piece. So definitely some cheap options to go for in your cash games there. And I've never really liked the tight end. You have Grayson, you have Moelle, Cox. Like they spread out too much. Nobody's probably going to score more than 2 or 3 DK points unless they catch a random touchdown. So don't love it. But the Colts D, I think, is definitely in play if you're going to pay up because the Falcons have been erratic. And their offense, Heineke is back out there with Ritter getting pulled again. Bijan Robinson, they they haven't figured out how to use him correctly. So if they use him correctly, he could be great here. The Colts have definitely um, not been great against the run. So, and he can catch some balls out of the backfield. So, at 6'3", he's definitely in play, but I don't know if I can play him in cash games. Drake London, absolutely love his role here, especially with Heineke, the way he throws the ball. Um, so I definitely think that he's one that I can like. And really the rest of the receiving core, I'm not interested. There's better value. Other places, Pitts and Jonnu Smith, either one could have a decent game here. Jonnu Smith is really cheap. He's fallen down to 2.9. If he catches a touchdown at that price point, that's just gold. And we've seen some long, decent plays for him from both quarterbacks throwing. And then Kyle Pitts is just such an amazingly athletic tight end, more like kind of like McBride is for Arizona, but he just doesn't get balls thrown to him too much. Well, he's had a problem with drops and stuff too, but he's looked better form recently, so hopefully something happens there for him. The defenses, like I said, I potentially could pay up for Indiana, but not going to touch Atlanta. Green Bay and Carolina, 37.5 total for some reason, Green Bay's favorite here, just probably because Carolina's been so bad, but they got their first win with their new coach and they're at home. And I don't know who is healthy enough for Jordan Love to throw to. So I don't think I'm playing much love here because Carolina has actually been good against the pass. Aaron Jones, I would consider. Packers defense, I would consider because they are against Bryce Young. But Dubes is going to be the only receiver. So if you're doing GPP, if you want to stack Love and Dubes and Jones and the Green Bay defense and Tucker Kraft, then there you go. Because Reed's banged up. We don't know if he's going to play. Wicks has an ankle injury. I don't know if he's going to play. So all these receivers are out. And it's going to go like and AJ Dillon is banged up with a thumb and we don't know if he's going to play. So if they're that limited with like this cast of like fill-ins that who knows, like the offense is going to be Love, Jones, Dubes, Kraft. That's pretty much those three guys. So it'd be pretty easy to figure out, pretty decent stack, pretty cheap. You could probably throw like all the other guys you want in and get everybody you want if you want to do that. So just kind of idea for GPP. Carolina, not really touching it. Bryce Young, terrible quarterback. Maybe he'll figure it out in the offseason, maybe the OTOs or all those practices and stuff. Maybe they get a new offensive coordinator and get a better system for him or something. Maybe he'll make some progress. Speed of the game will slow down a little bit for him, but he's not there yet. Not gonna say he's a bust just yet. I think the talent's there, but they just need to figure out a lot of things. Chuba Hubbard has definitely taken over the backfield, has a really good role, and really like him in cash plays. Thielen has really like he was almost up to 8K or like 9K, like one of the most expensive wide receivers on the slate. And after the first 5 weeks, and then he just kind of disappeared. So not playing him. Mingo is starting to get better at 3.6. He could get you anywhere from 7 to 10 DK points. So definitely think he's in play for cash. I think it would be a popular punt. And I'm not touching any of the tight ends. Carolina defense, I think if you want to punt, they're the cheapest ones on, I believe, both DraftKings and on FanDuel. And if Green Bay's is banged up on offense, then hey, it might be the best play just to put them in there. They're the cheapest defense and just pay up every place else and should be perfectly fine. And maybe they end up like scoring a touchdown or get some sacks, interception, fumbles, things like that. Just stop them. Don't give up many points or anything, and you're good to go. Next up, we have Cleveland Brown and Houston Texans. 40.5 total, which I don't know where these points are going to come from. And Cleveland is favored by 2.5. So Joe Flacco's back there as quarterback, doing a good job. Jerome Ford, I don't really like. Houston's had a good run defense, and he's kind of banged up, and Hunt's still lurking in there also. Mari Cooper is definitely in play here. Elijah Moore potentially in play here as a little bit of value. Njoku, love him. I want one of the best tight end options on the slate in the Cleveland defense. If you want to play them against this Texan team that has the backup quarterback and wide receivers banged up, then definitely someone to consider. They've been strong all year long. So Case Keenum, I don't know if I'd trust playing him. A GPP stack potentially, but don't love it. Singletary has definitely taken over the backfield and has the role like Pierce is after only a couple seasons has completely faded away. So Singletary is the guy. So if you want a workhorse back, 5.5 is not a bad price for him. So I like that. Just have to see if Nico Collins is playing or not. Still questionable a little bit. So it looked like trending more towards potentially not being very limited in practice, but we'll see if he gets out there and if he can get out there, what he can do. But no matter what, Noah Brown's going to be a great play still. And then Woods is still there, but not super excited. And Dalton Schultz is also in the picture too. Maybe if Collins is out, I'd play him. But again, there's so many great tight end plays, and he just doesn't really, he didn't even make the sheet this week. So that's how many strong tight end plays there are. Commanders and Jets, if you have to. Yes, this game has to be played. It's on the NFL schedule. Two abysmal teams, a 36.5 total, and the Jets, for some reason, are favored by 3 points. That's how bad Washington is. They're a dog to the Jets. So Sam Howell looks like he's going to be taking over as quarterback. We'll see. I don't know. There's been some injuries. There's been some question of like, how well the quarterbacks have been playing. So it looks like Howell's going to start here. And we know Washington's just throwing. Brian Robinson Jr. is out. So Gibson should have the full backfield, but the Jets have really good defense. So I don't know if I really want to play him there. I think there's so many other options. And even with the wide receivers, like the Jets have a really good secondary. So McLaurin, Dotson, and Samuel are pretty much the ones. McLaurin's a deep threat, had an amazing game last week, but I don't think he's going to be able to repeat that against this defense. And Samuel seems to be like the short route guy, the possession receiver, then the catches just keep on adding up. So I think he's a good target. I don't know, we'll call him a target monster, but he gets enough targets to be viable at his price tag each week, no matter who the quarterback is. And Logan Thomas is there also pretty cheap as a tight end. If you're paying down, I kind of like him or Conklin on the other side of the game. But again, I think you want to pay up for tight end. Washington defense is definitely in play. The Jet side, Trevor Simeon's going to get the start. Zach Wilson is officially out. I mean, he's decent. Denver's had some good games, but this Washington defense horrible. They traded away their best pass rushers, and definitely an opportunity there, but can they put together? Brees Hall, I really like. I think that's a place that they can go. He should be back and healthy. So Garrett Wilson is definitely in play also. Rest of the wide receiving core is dust, so I'm not going to touch them. And Trevor Conklin or Tyler Conklin at tight end is good. And the Jets defense, I think it's another best buy. On FanDuel, they're too expensive. They're the most expensive one, but in DK, they're in the kind of price in the middle. And I think they're easily to get up to them, and I like pairing them with like Hall, the running back. Jacksonville and the Buccaneers, 43 total. Close game, 1.5 total. Don't know if the total is going to be the same if Lawrence is still out with concussion protocol. Looks like he's trending towards playing. If he doesn't, then I think you definitely want to bet the Buccaneers on this one. Lawrence is good, if a great matchup because again, Tampa Bay is a pass funnel. They stop the run, they make you throw the ball, and they're pretty good at that. So ETN, I am not interested in here. Ridley and Parker Washington, I should be okay. Zay Jones is questionable with or actually he's like more doubtful. So it looks like Ridley and Parker Washington will be the guys. And Parker Washington is pretty cheap at 8.77, even with backup quarterback. I think that backup quarterback worked with him a lot. Just because he's been down with the depth chart in like camp and practice and stuff. So there seems to be a decent rapport there, especially when he came in and replaced Lawrence when Lawrence went out for when he had the ankle sprain there. So something to look at. And Evan Ingram has just been a great target to a tight end. So at 5'4", I like him. And Jacksonville defense, not super interested in. Tampa Bay defense, I think, is going to be very popular, especially if Jacksonville is starting a backup quarterback. So they could be a best buy out there. Mayfield has just been amazing. Rashid White has a great role and definitely is one of the top running backs on the slate if you're willing to pay up for him. Has backfield all to himself, will run the ball, will catch the ball, is the goal line back. So does everything that you'd ever want in a fantasy running back. Mike Evans is definitely a great wide receiver. We've seen like one dud game in like the last like 5 or 6, but overall he just catches balls, he catches touchdowns, he does really good things. Godwin's been starting to come around. He's been starting to get healthy and catching balls also. So I don't think it's necessarily going to take away from Evans, more complement him. If he's not going to have all the coverage if Godwin is back in the picture making plays. So I think both of them you can play, but Evans is definitely my favorite. And Kate on the tight end again, we're probably paying up, but if you want to pay down for a cheap one or put one in utility, he's in play. And like I said, Tampa Bay defense, I definitely like, especially if they're on with the backup quarterback. So final two late games, Arizona and the Chicago Bears, 43 total in Chicago. Weather looks decent here. Chicago's favored by 4. Cardinal side, Kyler Murray's always in play. He's starting to rush more, doing well. His wide receivers are banged up too. So, but he still has McBride and Connor there. Connor, I think, is in play. His wide receivers might be Michael Wilson and Rondell Moore because I know Brown's out and I think Dortch is questionable. So we'll have to see who's playing there, but I really don't see them catching more than like 10 DK points. I think McBride would be the priority and running with Connor. So yeah, or running with Murray. So that's what I'm pretty much looking at. Arizona defense is definitely a fade. Uh, Justin Fields, one of my favorite quarterbacks on the slate, probably going to be my cash winning quarterback. He's probably the only one that really has rushing upside on this slate because we don't have Josh Allen, we don't have Mahomes, we don't have Lamar Jackson, we don't have Hurts. So Fields is good. This running back situation is an absolute disaster. I don't. They're probably all going to score like 7 DK points. They're all going to get chances, and one of them might get the hot hand, but with all 3 of them there, I'm not touching it. DJ Moore, love pairing with Fields, Mooney, at GPP, not touching any of the other wide receivers. Komet is banged up. Should be okay, should play, but just keep an eye on that. The Tonian might be at 2.5 at like minimum price. If Komet's out, would probably be an outstanding like value play if you want to do that. So keep an eye on Komet. And the Bears defense is definitely in play here against an Arizona team that's really struggled offensively at times. Dallas and Miami, probably the game of the week. 49.5 total. Miami's favored by 1.5. Dallas laid an egg last week, obviously. And both these teams, to knock against them is they don't play well against good teams. So, like, somebody's got to win this game. So we'll see what happens. But Dak Prescott should be good. Tony Pollard, he's more of a GPP, but he always looks good on paper, but he just hasn't delivered a ton this season. Again, I think it's I think, Doddle's catching up to him, but he really hasn't become the Tony Pollard to Tony Pollard becoming like Ezekiel Elliott's role last year. So, and there's been some indications where he's starting to catch balls out of the backfield, Pollard, and that helps with his value on DK, getting the points for each of those. So I'll let you determine if you want to play him or not, but I don't think his priority in this game. CD Lamb's definitely is. Cooks and GPP is great. The rest of them probably about 4 DK points apiece between Gallup, Tolbert, and Turpin, so not super interested in those. Jake Ferguson is an awesome play here at 4.9. A little bit cheaper than some of the pay up tight ends, but not like down in the basement. And definitely has a good role. And the Dallas defense, I don't know. We've seen Miami struggle at times, and we've seen Miami absolutely crush at times. So I don't know. I don't think I'm playing that roulette with the price of Dallas defense. On the Dolphins side, Tua is obviously a really good quarterback, but doesn't have the rushing upside anymore. So you really need him to get a lot of yards and passing touchdowns. And I don't know if he's going to do that against this really good Dallas defense. So he is a cash fade for me. So are the running backs. Like, I think they kind of cancel each other out. I mean, you can play both of them, but they're priced up in the 7K range. So the only time I really want to play one of them is if one of them is out and it's like kind of obvious, like which one of them it's going to be. And so it's like the Pittsburgh situation, but much more expensive. So I'm out on those. Tyreek Hill, if he's in, is obviously an outstanding play. Definitely would try to make him a priority, get him as pay up to get in the lineup. If he's not there, Waddle's there. If he is there, I think Waddle is still in play also because he'll take some of the coverage away and might give him some opportunities. Smythe is okay for a tight end, but not super excited on that and not really interested in the Dolphins D. So I said for quarterbacks, if you're paying up, Fields, Dak, or Murray is who I'm looking at. Medium range, Mayfield, Lawrence, if he's playing, or Goff. In the cheap range, there's some really good ones in Mullen, Flacco, and Geno Smith against the pass funnel defense. Fading Tua, Keenum, and Young. For paying up for running backs, White, Taylor, Gibbs, and Pollard. White and Taylor would be my favorite out of those. Medium range, Hall, Bijan Robinson, Jones, with really offensively handicapped with injury Green Bay team. ETN, who I don't really love against the defense, but falls in that medium range. The cheap range, this is super strong here. Chandler, Hubbard, Connor, and Singletary. I think you can start your cash lineups with any two of those guys. And the cash fade Miami guys, Walker 3 against a really strong rush defense. Montgomery, Minnesota rush defense has been decent, and Henry just doesn't get the yardage anymore. Might get the touchdowns, but it's not enough to do it for me on DK. Wide receivers, Hill, if he's in, is probably the top one. Lamb would be 1A. Jefferson, St. Brown, all of them are in great spots if you can get up to them. The medium range, Moore is definitely a great play, especially playing Fields as your quarterback. Ridley, Evans, been super solid. Hopkins and Amari Cooper, I'm going to put in there also. In the 5 to 6K range, again, some very solid plays here. Garrett Wilson, London from Atlanta. Reed, if he's in for Green Bay, because they use him in the running game and things like that also. And then Downs, because he's the number one receiver now in Indianapolis with the Pittman injury. And then Wicks, if he's in, is one to consider for Green Bay. Jigba from Seattle, Samuel from Washington, and then Pierce is like super cheap wide receiver on Indianapolis. Also, tight ends McBride, Laporta, Hawkinson. If I'm paying up, Dujuco is probably gonna be one of the top ones on the slate. Ingram and Ferguson, solid mid range there, and then Kraft, Commit, and Pitts. The cheap guys like more good options like Kraft has just been so solid taking over the Montgomery or not or the Musgrave role, and like if they don't really have many wide receivers there, might see a lot of targets, kind of like McBride does without seeing many wide receivers in Arizona. And then Conklin, Otson, Okonkwo, and like I said, if Tonyan, if Komet is out, is like minimum price. Defenses: Tampa Bay or Jets, Indianapolis or Green Bay, Miami or Carolina, Cleveland, Chicago, and I'm avoiding Minnesota and Texas. So let's look at the build to get you on your way for your holiday weekend. So I'm taking Fields as my QB, Chandler and Wade as my running backs. If you don't want to pay up for White, that's fine. You can go Singletary or Hubbard or Connor, someone in that, and be able to pay up for one of the stud wide receivers there. But I'm going more in London and then probably taking somebody else that's in the um, medium range there, like Wilson, Reed, Downs. You know, that's probably where I'm going with that. Tight end. There's so many options. I just want to pin you down in a core to one of them. So whoever you like and fits in there, it's great. And then you flex, you'll just see how much money you have left between your wide receiver and tight end, and then the Jets defense where I'm going for that. Um, on FanDuel, you can't get up to the Jets defense because it's too expensive. So I think I went Tampa Bay in that one. The only thing is I did throw a tight end with you. I like Njoku's price there. So I threw a tight end there. So defense for GPP, same for both sides. Mullins, I'm going for the quarterback, taking the savings there. Great wide receiving core. Hubbard and Hall for my running backs. Hill or Lamb, whoever you can fit in there, pay up for one of them, and Jefferson, and then again figure out what wide receiver you could fit in there, what tight end you want, and then whatever's left over for your flex. There's tons of options on the board. So I got for you. Hope you have a great holiday season. Be safe. Don't drink and drive or do anything. Party responsibly. Enjoy your family and your friends. And thank you so much for making us a part of it and watching this video. So these videos help us back by all you have to do is subscribe to our channel, share them with your friends, and give it a like. That'd be great. Great Christmas present for us. So appreciate that. If you want more information outside DFS, like I said, it's in the description video how to get to our website to sign up for our packages. And everything's going to be free for the next week. So if you use that code in the next couple of days, that's on the top in the black there, FSI holiday season, as your coupon code. You should be good to go. So appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, put them in the chat below. If not, I'm going to get out of here and get to bed so I can get this video uploaded into you and get on to serving more customers groceries. Actually, I've been doing retail for 30 years and I absolutely love it. So I just love the holidays and helping people out and, trying to help them with their traditions and everything and finding those last can of like yams or whatever for them just to make their holiday season special. So hope you guys have a great time. Thank you for watching. I'll be back sometime next week for some videos for, I don't know if I'll get like a Monday one in or not. I'll try to. You got NBA and so many things going on, but if not, I'll definitely have the week 17 breakdown for you if I don't get anything else out. So thank you for that and have a good holiday. I'll see you next time.